Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today it's one of my replays and I'm in the Moines, a tier 10 US cruiser. I'm on the map hotspot. It's an arms race battle, pure tier 10. No subs, no carriers, which is lovely. So I'm making my way towards this island in between, well, sort of between the two buffs that are spawning there, so I can cover both with my radar. Now the center here is a little bit tricky to take because I mean, there are some islands here, but it's most likely an area that might be covered by radar, and it is very dangerous to take. The left side here, while there are islands for ambushes, is a little bit more open. Now, I'm getting detected while I'm here, so I'm gonna pop a radar, and exactly there is the enemy destroyer. Also showing that, well, buffs are very important, so it makes sense the Regular is going to try for one here. But he has positioned in a way that I could radar him. I also was detected here, and it shouldn't have been that Regular unless the island here is sort of traying me. Now, for some reason, the Regular though keeps going forward, right? So it managed to grab the buff, but what it needs to do now is retreat. But it looks like it's just charging after our shimmer. Still have 12 seconds of radar left. Unfortunately, not really many shots at it so far. Now, it's trying to smoke up actually pretty well timed with my radar running out, but this was a little bit too low on health already. So, not quite the best choice by the enemy destroyer, and oh, by the way, there is a Holland, so that's how I was most likely detected earlier. Yeah. If he had just grabbed the buff and turned away, he would have lived and would have been a lot better for the enemy team, but now they got a buff, but they lost the ship. Meanwhile, there is a health regeneration going to spawn over there, where the enemy is pushing. Unfortunately, our team has pretty much abandoned this flank, except for me. The Montana is still somewhat here, but it's probably in retreat. So it's just our division that's trying to hold this flank. Now on the other side, we have a large force. I'm hoping they're not going to ignore that buff there because, you know, they are vastly outnumbering the enemy. So they should do something with it. Now I'm just trying to set some fires here on the Yamato. Now I could at this point just turn around and run away and let the enemy entirely roll over this flank, but don't feel like it. There is a fire. See, the problem here is also, where else would I go, right? There aren't really any other convenient islands, and I can hold this position for a while unless they really push around here and start flanking me. And oh, there is a buff spawning here, at least we can grab that in a little bit. I'm getting detected, presumably by Holland that has pushed through. That makes this a little bit awkward, because I'm mostly relying on concealment here with this island. Now, they are also pushing in from the other side, so I might be surrounded soon. Meanwhile, our team hasn't really done anything on the left flank yet. Maybe they're going to grab the seal eventually. And that's one less Yamato. That's actually good news, because this Yamato was somewhat concerned. So it turns out the Holland has decided to not push around here, which is good news for me. Meanwhile, that St. Vincent is getting closer and closer, and St. Vincent has some pretty powerful guns. Also has the lovely weird little torpedoes. Not the best armored one, but if it comes to a close quarters fight, the St. Vincent would probably wreck me. Now we have a Puerto Rico pushing in here. We shall just see how that ends. I'm once again detected. I mean, it's not the Holland coming around. This means the island is just betraying me in a sense. There shouldn't be anything here detecting me from the rear, right? The island here can be a bit wonky with when you're visible and when you're not, I guess. So I'm gonna pop a radar just to see what's happening, and we found the Holland. Unfortunately, it's too close, so I can't lob shells around the island. I'm once again detected. I think I've sort of given up to figure out when I'm detected around this island, because it makes no bloody sense. Meanwhile, there is a St. Vincent coming here from the rear. It's not looking this way, so maybe I can sneak in a few shells by reversing. Right, it shouldn't have time to turn its guns around and be an actual threat right now. Now it's a good thing that it hasn't pushed me, but instead is going for this buff there. And it's sort of charging into our team. So that's nice. Meanwhile, that Halland is getting closer. Is it gonna try YOLO? So at this point I've decided two things, right? I can go around here and just grab the buff, and then I can farm this Halland. The Halland's in my hydro. It has no way of escaping right now. It isn't even positioned to torpedo me. So I can quickly come around and take care of it. Now this exposes me to the enemy team, and they might just sink me in return. But I thought it was worth it getting the Halland. Now so far it's actually going better than expected, because the enemy hasn't really retaliated. The Viper is providing a smoke screen, which is very nice. Of course, the Puerto Rico can't just radar it if it's ready. It probably should be. So I'm not gonna keep sitting here in this smoke. I might continue a little bit further to avoid any possible radar shenanigans. Yeah, there is the radar, but I'm already on my way. That's a bit late. So maybe it just wasn't ready earlier. Who knows? I'm almost out of range, and I'm still trying to get some nice armor-piercing shells into the Puerto Rico. Now overall this game is looking lovely. While the enemy is doing a good job on buffs, they have lost way too many ships achieving those. So yeah, it's very important to collect buffs in this game mode, but you can't just throw all of your ships away to get them. So you need to find a balance between acceptable risk into grabbing the buffs so that you don't end up like the enemy team here. Now the Puerto Rico is almost down here. I'm gonna have to be careful that I don't overcommit with my broadside here while the enemy is almost down. If it now got a bunch of citadels in me, that would surely be a shame. And down it goes. So this worked surprisingly well. You know, when the enemy was pushing my flank here, I was really concerned because they had the numbers on us and they could have easily come around and got rid of me. Like, the Moines doesn't have torpedoes. Not having torpedoes as a cruiser makes you incredibly vulnerable to getting pushed by like a battleship. Now, there are some battleships that you could citadel if you see the broadside, and the Des Moines has a pretty good DPM. But nothing helps you against a battleship just coming around, like overmatching your nose. And yeah, there really is nothing that could help you in such a case other than RNG maybe. Meanwhile, somebody in our chat is actually concerned about my division mate here in the Shimmer Council. It's like, you know, there's nothing mean. They just saw that our Shimmer is on low health and advising him to just stay concealed now. Which is, you know, pretty nice. Most people demand that the destroyers just go spot and do everything and then blame them when they sink. So somebody actually being concerned about a teammate is a nice change. Meanwhile, I've found a Hindenburg that I'm now going to challenge. Now, I've started with a lot less hit points than the Hindenburg, and, well, Hindenburg does have torpedoes. So it's entirely possible that Hindenburg is gonna charge and try to torpedo me. I'm trying to burn it down in turn. And I'm also going to slow down here a little bit. Now, the Moines has some pretty good DPM. And we do have some... Well, actually, the enemy has... We have 2 damage in the reload, same as the enemy, so... We do have 1 more heal, though. Now this Hindenburg is gonna keep charging and I'm gonna keep reversing. The thing is, I need just to either sink it before I can make its torpedo turn or farm it during the torpedo turn. I do have a hydro running, so I might be able to dodge whatever comes my way. And actually this Hindenburg is waiting a little bit too long with trying its torpedoes. Obviously it wanted to get close as possible, so now we're gonna go armor piercing. And... Goodbye. Well, that was an interesting Hindenburg charge there. But at this point the enemy team is just utterly crumbling anyway. So now we got the center, the last enemies are hiding somewhere in the back, not doing anything anymore and just waiting for us to reach 1,000 points. Once you got the center camp, the points tick in so fast that, you know, it's gonna be over soon. That's the good thing actually, because it means that there will be no long drawn out hunt for the enemies. We just get our 1,000 points and take our victory. And I'm gonna speed this up a little bit, because even though it goes fast, you know, let's make it go faster. So this turned into a pretty lovely Des Moines game. I mean, it could have gone horribly wrong if the enemy actually properly pushed around and cornered me. I was in a very bad spot. But despite everything, despite the enemy's numerical superiority, they just all let themselves get farmed without achieving anything. So, yay! Well, I had some fun in this. I hope you had some fun watching it, and I'll see you next time.